Eighth grade, here are a few quick tips for starting your research for your GI paper. Any book you find in the library, if you're looking for a print resource that has a location with numbers on it, that's our Dewey Decimal System. Those are in the back of the library in the reading room, all the way on the left-hand side. Those are all our Dewey Decimal research type books. Other resources that might be useful to you, on the right-hand side you're going to find our newspapers and magazines. Particular magazines that might be of use in this project are Newsweek, the New York Times up front, and Time Magazine. We've got 4 newspapers which are updated daily. Left to right, we have the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, the New York Times. On the right side, we have USA Today and the Wall Street Journal. The books along the wall are also going to be helpful in a certain way. Let me give you an example. Here's a book that looks like it would be great if your topic has to do with immigration. If we look inside of the book at the copyright page, we're going to see when this book was published. It's a little bit blurry, but the date is 1996. That's a date that's good enough to provide you with some background information about this topic, but in terms of current events and laws that have been enacted recently, this is not a good source to use. Great for background, not great for current events. Same thing with our reference section. You're going to find encyclopedias and a lot of books that might help you on certain topics, but they're a little bit dated. Again, they're great for background information, but they're not good for current events. So let's talk about some sources that will help you out that are more current than newspapers or magazines or books. Most of you have been to micdslibrary.com and visited our databases link. Once you're back on our databases page, there's 2 areas that will really help you out. The all-in-one searches and the issues databases. Let's take a look at the all-in-one searches. There's a bunch of them in this drop-down box and they're all really good. I'm going to start with the EBSCO Student Resource Center and click Go. You're going to have to always log in with the username and password that's common to all these databases. And then usually you might have to click on the particular database on a list. So take a look at this database. Just because it's online doesn't mean that it's an internet source. If I search for immigration or any topic related to immigration, I might find a magazine article and it would count as a magazine source. I might find a newspaper article and it would count as a newspaper source. I might find an encyclopedia article and I would cite it just like an encyclopedia article. So just because it's online on our databases doesn't mean it's an internet source. You can find all kinds of different sources on these databases. Let's go back to the library database homepage. So the second one that's going to be really useful is our issues databases. And again, there's a bunch of them in this drop-down box. They're all really good. Try them all out. I'm going to start with SIRS Researcher, and I'm going to click Go. And again, you're going to have to log in, but I've already done it. So on this page, you can search for a topic, or you can look for current topics in this alphabetical list. I'm going to look for immigration or illegal immigration, and I'll click on illegal immigration, and that takes me to their topic overview. On the topic overview, it's going to give me a lot of different things that might be helpful. Here's a summary of the topic, a bunch of different research tools like statistics, global impact, timeline. Here's a summary of arguments for and against an essential question like should illegal immigrants be allowed to remain in the United States? There's usually media like a video. And then if you scroll down, there's a list of articles, and it tells you what kind of articles they are. So, for example, here's one, number of illegal immigrants in U.S. now declining. This was in an actual newspaper, the Arizona Republic, so it counts as a newspaper source, and you would cite it as a newspaper source. So here's one of the most important things to know as you're collecting information from the databases. I'm going to click on this newspaper article from the Arizona Republic. And what a lot of you guys are doing is you're copying this web address into your OneNote notebooks and then clicking on it to get back to this article like a few days later. That doesn't work because the database doesn't let you use this link in order to get back to the article. My suggestion is that you go ahead and print this article, not to a printer, but print it to your OneNote notebook. That way you have the article, you have everything you need to cite the article, and you can always get back to it, and you can annotate it and highlight it right in your OneNote notebook. So let's go back to micdslibrary.com, and I'm going to show you real quick how to cite this kind of article. This is the middle school page. I'm going to click on Citation, which a lot of you used last year to some extent. It's under construction right now, but if I click on this link, it will take me to the ODE page. So on this drop-down menu, I'm looking for Database Article. And here's a bunch of instructions on how to do this, because you don't cite everything that you find on a database the same way. Because sometimes you find a newspaper article, sometimes you find an encyclopedia or magazine article. What you do is you cite whatever type of source you found on that database. So we just found a newspaper article, so I'm going to cite this just like a newspaper would be, and then I'm going to add some stuff on the end. In the blue here, you see everything you need to find in order to make your bibliography entry. In the black, here's an example. So this is a newspaper article that we found on a database. So I'm citing it as a newspaper article, which is this part that I'm highlighting now. And then the rest of that citation I'm adding on, and that's the database that I used to find that newspaper article. I used the Gale Student Resource Center for this particular example. Stuff like the library I went through to get it, the date that I accessed the information, and then the web address. But not the big long web address with all the numbers and the letters. You don't need that. All you need is the very simple address at the top that usually ends in .com or .gov or .org or something like that. If you have any other questions about types of sources or formats for bibliographies, make sure to go ahead and ask your individual classroom teacher. I'm also available in the library if there's any way I can help you out.